What is happening, baby? Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Network's very own Fantasy Football Huddle, presented by Danklyfe brand and yours truly, Dallas Clark. Today, we're talking Week 7, buy low, sell high trade targets, so make sure you tune in. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Also, hit that subscriptions bar as well as that notifications bell if you're new to the channel. And if you haven't yet, check us out on Spotify if you need more convenient and easier audio-only versions of the Huddle Chat Sports Network. Now, without further ado, let's fill up our cup, roll something up, and get right into the trade targets for Week 7. Let's get better and more consistent players on our roster, starting with James Conner from the Arizona Cardinals. He's a plug-and-play type of player. He's scored double digits in all but one game so far this year. He's been dealing with an ankle injury that he acquired in Week 6. He's been practicing, so he may not miss any time yet, but the offense has been worrying some people, and you have a really bad matchup coming up this week. Now, after this week, you're looking at James Conner having Miami, Chicago, and the New York Jets before their bye week in Week 11, and he has one of the strongest running back playoff schedules that you can get going into the playoffs this season. So I like James Conner a lot, and I think he's one of the strongest buy lows that you can get. Another buy low player you can get moving to the wide receiver position is T. Higgins, and I think this is the last time you can really talk about T. Higgins being a buy low. If you haven't had the chance to get him yet, this might be your last opportunity. He had the very slow start to start the season, and he's really only had one good game against a good matchup. Now, you're looking at this last 3 weeks, T. Higgins has had 31 targets in this Cincinnati Bengals offense. And for comparison's sake, Jamar Chase has had 24 targets. So he's out-targeted Jamar Chase in the last 3 weeks. Plus, his upcoming schedule is Cleveland, Philadelphia, the Raiders, and Baltimore. So he has a real solid stretch of good matchups. So T. Higgins is about to go crazy. So make sure you get in on T time while you can. Another buy low player you can get is DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. He seems to be one of the most talked about trade players, whether you're talking about trading him away or you're talking about acquiring him. So I figure why not jump on the bandwagon and let's talk about DK Metcalf. I'm buying low on DK Metcalf. You're looking at him coming off of 2 down weeks, and he had 7 targets or more in both of those matchups. You're looking at DK Metcalf and the Seattle Seahawks finding themselves needing to throw the ball all the time. They're finding themselves in a lot of shootouts, and DK Metcalf is heavily involved in this offense. He's getting a ton of targets, and I think with the matchups coming up, DK Metcalf is going to be a solid number 2 wide receiver to add to your roster going into the playoffs. That shouldn't let you down. Another player we're going to be talking about moving back into the running back position on the buy low track is going to be Brian Robinson Jr. from the Washington Commanders. You're looking at him being a top 12 running back on the season. He had lower volume in Week 5 due to the injury, and he missed Week 6, and now he's questionable coming into Week 7. If he is healthy, he will dominate the Carolina Panthers. So right now is the time that you can try to jump and get Brian Robinson Jr. if you have something to sell in order to acquire him, because he will be a little bit expensive, but this is going to be the lowest price you're going to get Brian Robinson Jr. at for the remainder of the season. Before we continue on and talk about the sell high targets, we're going to ask you guys to check out our Sunday live stream, 9:30 Mountain Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We give you injury advice, we give you lineup advice, the last minute injury advice, as well as some parlays that will hopefully pay your rent this month. Now, make sure if you haven't yet, you hit that subscriptions bar as well as that notifications bell, and you also smash that like button. Moving on into the sell high targets, starting out with J.K. Dobbins. Now look, J.K. Dobbins has been killing it. Last week he had 80% of carries on 73% of snaps, and that's been about his average for the entirety of the season. He's got great overall work, and he's coming off of a good game, and he's playing Arizona, which is a great matchup in Week 7. If you shop him this week, that'd be a great idea, but I also might even hold on to him through Week 7, and after this week, try to shop him. You can get somebody like Brian Thomas Jr., Chris Olave now with Derek Carr coming back, and Rashid Shaheed most likely going to miss the season. Even a Josh Jacobs. I just see J.K. Dobbins. You look at him having an injury history. You look at all the other running backs that have been on injury reserve, have been banged up coming into the season, throughout the season for the Los Angeles Chargers. J.K. Dobbins has had a stranglehold on this running back room, but I think they want him there for the long haul. If the Chargers are going to make it into the playoff push, they're going to want their best players there. So I think they start lowering his volume, and we're hoping to not see J.K. Dobbins get injured at all. I just do not see, with his matchup, his schedule coming up, J.K. Dobbins continuing this high production that he's had this far this season. If I can, I'm selling him high, and I'm getting some good pieces out of J.K. Dobbins. Another player I'm selling high on this week is going to be Najee Harris from the Pittsburgh Steelers, coming off the biggest game of his season, and he only did it on 48% of snaps, which was his season low. You're looking at Jaylen Warren. You're looking at Cordell Patterson, all coming back and being healthy now. So he's going to be handing out the ball, and he's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be spreading out the love in the running back room. You're looking at Najee Harris only playing 6 more snaps than Jaylen Warren did this coming week, and you're looking at him dropping from a 67% routes run when he was out there to a mere 32% routes run. So I'm looking at him and I'm saying I could possibly get a Romo Dunze and Xavier Worthy, a Brian Robinson Jr. like we talked about earlier, right now when he's at his highest value that he's going to be at for the remainder of the season, and you're stuck at him, and you're stuck with him with a frustrating schedule coming up for the remainder of the season. Another player I'm looking at selling high on is going to be Jameson Williams from the Detroit Lions. He's been amazing this year, absolutely explosive. He's number 2 in yards per reception, number 5 in yards per target through the entire NFL. Now you're looking at touchdowns, making him a top 20 player, because through 5 games this season, Jameson Williams has only had 16 catches throughout the entirety of this season so far. You're having games where he only has 1 catch or 3 catches, and it's looking like explosive plays are going to be his wheelhouse. You're looking at Amon-Ra getting more involved. You're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs getting more involved in the pass game. You're looking at them wanting to run the ball first and foremost, and then they want to run the ball through Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta. You're looking at Tim Patrick being involved as well. So you're looking at the Detroit Lions starting to get moving, starting to get shaken, and Jameson Williams is going to drop down low in this explosive targets, and he's going to be more like an Alec Pierce, Rashid Shaheed type of player. If I can, I'm selling him right now, like we talked about Brian Robinson multiple times in this video already. I'm trying to get Brian Robinson 1-for-1 for him if I can. I'm trying to get Jalen Waddle with Tua Tagovailoa coming back if I can, and I think Jameson Williams is a good player, but if I can sell him high right now, I definitely will. Last player we're talking about today is going to be Wan'Dale Robinson from the New York Giants. Right now, he's got number 2 targets in the NFL. He's got a 29% target share, which is number 8 in the NFL. I don't think that he's going to fall off the face of the earth. However, Malik Neighbors is coming back. You're looking at Wan'Dale Robinson receiving 0 downfield targets and 0 red zone targets. So none of the targets he's getting really are of any value. He's averaging 4.7 yards per reception, 4.8 yards per target. So if he gets 10 targets and catches all 10 of them, you're looking at him averaging 48 yards per game, which is just not doable unless you're playing maybe PPR. I'm looking at Wan'Dale Robinson and I'm saying you can get D-Hop out of him. You can get Khalil Shakir, who people may be low on now with Amari Cooper coming into the lineup. You can get Isaiah Pacheco coming off of injury. I just don't see Wan'Dale Robinson keeping up a realm of possibilities where you realistically want to think about putting him in your flex position week after week. That's going to do it for the buy low, sell high trade targets going into week 7. As I mentioned, we have the startums and situms coming up, and then we also have the live stream that we have on Monday mornings, 9:30 Mountain Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in there. And we will also have the graphics back for you the next week. There was a big change in the production studio that I was using. So we're trying to find a new production studio, production platform to use. So if you have any ideas, drop them in the comments. If you have any lineup advice that you need, drop them in the comments. I do have a comment from Dylan O'Shea that I'm going to be responding to, and I will be posting up on my startums and situms at the end of the day as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned in, and if you haven't yet, hit that like button. But most importantly, make sure you keep your chin up and your attitude down. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.